Zain.
Syafiq Zain.
My name is Megat Azim, Azaman.
Nurul Asyiqin binti Mohammad Salleh.
Syamimi Farhana binti
Siti Norakmal Aisyah binti Marzuki.
Introduction to System Design Phase. System design is the process of defining elements of a system like module, architecture, component and their interface, and data for a system based on the specific requirement. It is the process defining, developing and designing system which satisfy the specific need and requirement of a business and organization. System design is the third of 5 phases in the system development life cycle. In the previous phase, system analysis, a logical model of the new system was developed. The output of that phase, the system requirement document, is used as input to the system design phase, where a physical design is created that satisfies the system requirement. User interface design. The development of the user interface (UI) is used by process designers to create software or computerized system interface based on look or style. Designers seek to build interface that are easy to use and pleasurable for user. To facilitate this action, UI design focus on understanding what user may need to do and ensuring that the app has components that are easy to navigate, understand and use. UI tends to put together ideas from the architecture of interaction design, graphic design and details. Graphical user interface and other types are referred to in UI design. For this project, we use medium fidelity representation to show the level of the detail and functionality. The mockup created visualize the exchange structure, information and feature. User interface are come in 3 formats. Graphical user interface. User interact with visual representation on digital control panel or computer desktop in a graphical user interface. Second, voice control interface. User interact with this through their voice. Most smart assistant, example Siri on iPhone or Google. Third, gesture-based interface. User engage with 3D design space through bodily motion. And next, I will pass to my friend.
Right now, I will show our new interface design for JNT delivery. We are create 2 interface design for apps and web. For the interface design apps, we are create more effective and easier to use. Another that, for the icon, we are create new icon and easier to identify. Moreover, we are improve the interface tracking with the customer can identify the delivery is arrived to their location. And for the web, we are create is more friendly to use. Moreover, we are already create new interface for staff JNT. The staff JNT can scan the barcode or QR from the parcel to update the data to the database in JNT. With that, the process delivery or drop to the customer will be tracked from time to time. For the next session, I will pass to Asyiqin.
There are 4 types of data storage and access issues found during this project, which are infrastructure, cost, security, and user interface and accessibility. First is infrastructure. Data that occupy space and need a place to rest. In this situation, the apps designed need and high-tech servers to store vast amounts of data as it involves a huge company that have many branches all over the country. Next is cost. In order to install the high-tech servers, it may be much expensive in the beginning as the company needs to pay for installing costs and maintenance costs. Next is security. Security is one of the major issues to overcome and is very important as the application stores users' data. Therefore, many layers of security can be installed to prevent unauthorized access, including encryption and reliance on third-party providers. And last but not least is user interface and accessibility. An accessible user interface and clean accessibility is also important as users use various kinds of devices to access the application. Next, let's move on to data warehousing and data mining. You can see the differences as in the table. First, data mining does compare the customer's data and find the right pattern to store the data. Meanwhile, in data warehousing, customers' data received is centralized from different sources into one common repository. Next, this data mining technique is not always accurate and may cause consequences of the data obtained in certain conditions. Meanwhile, in data warehousing, there must be a great chance that the data obtained which require analysis is not being integrated into warehouse. This may easily lead to loss of customers' data. Next, data mining thus helps to generate actionable strategies built on data insights. Meanwhile, for data warehousing, once the data is keyed into data warehouse system, there might be a big chance to lose track on the data. Therefore, a quick search is necessary to help in finding correct customers' data. And last but not least, in data mining technique, the identification of errors can lead to data losses. Generated data can be used to detect a drop in cell. Meanwhile, for data warehousing, critical data can be accessed from number of sources in a single page, saving time to retrieve data from multiple sources. Next, let's talk about logical and physical design. As you can see, as in the slide, there are the components of logical and physical design. As for logical design, the components that need to be in is entities, relationships, attributes, and unique identifiers. As for physical design, the components that need to be in is tables, indexes, columns, materialized views, dimensions, and integrity constraints, which are primary key, foreign key, and not null. And below are the examples of physical design, which are the customer details and receiver details. As in the customer's details, the attribute that needs to be in is the name of the customer's mobile number and email. Meanwhile, for receiver details, the attribute that need to be in is name, address, mobile number, and goods type. Slide. Let's talk about data storage formats. In this case, we use DBMS, the database management system, to store the data. The reason that this format is chosen because the user's data is kept in the simplest and readable way, which in form of tables but using rows and columns. The DBMS serves as the intermediary between the user and the database. The database structure itself is stored as a collection of files, so we can access the data in those files through the DBMS. The DBMS receives all the application requests and translates them into the complex operations required to fulfill those requests. The DBMS hides much of the database internal complexity from the application programs and the users. Following are the advantages of DBMS. First is improved data sharing. Second, improved data security. Third, better data integration. Fourth is minimize the data inconsistency. Fifth is improve the data access. And sixth is improve the decision making. And last but not least, increase end user productivity. Next is file organization method. The method used is index. Below are the specifications of index method in file organization. The types of access used is offline or online. The data organization is in sequentially and by index. It has the flexibility in handling inquiries. It also has the availability of recent data. The speed retrieval is fast. The activity is high and also the volatility is high. The rest will be continued by my friend.
I will explain about the entity relationship diagram. If we take a look into the diagram, we have 9 entities all together, which is register, customers, parcels or documents, GNT, receivers, addresses, receipt, payment and receiver details. So each one of the entities will contain attributes. For example, customers will have name, email and mobile. For parcels or documents, we'll have goods details, receivers details and senders details. Without further any ado, I will explain about the relationship of all those entities. First of all, one or many customers can register only one in the system. And the customers need to fill in receiver details such as name, address, mobile and goods types before shipping any parcels or documents. Then, the customers can make one or many payment at the same time, which will generate receipts containing goods details and total payment. These receipts will received by the customers. After that, customers can either drop the parcels or documents at JNT branch, or JNT will collect the parcels or documents from the customers. Then, JNT will scan the parcels or documents to sort it by addresses, for example by state and areas. After that, the parcels or documents will be delivered to the receivers. Receivers will receive the parcels or documents. If the parcels or documents damage or have any problem with the services, the receivers will return the parcels or documents to JNT. Let's look forward into data control. Data control is the process of governing and managing data. It is a common type of internal control designed to achieve data governance and data management objectives. Here are some components of data control. First, data quality. Process to ensure the accuracy, completeness, credibility and timeliness of data. Second, information security. Protecting data from unauthorized access, modification, use or deletion. Third, backup. Backing up data in multiple locations and procedures to restore it. Backup copies of database retained within a specified period of time. Recovery procedures can be used to restore the file or database. Fourth, data retention. Policies for data retention and deletion. For example, deleting personal data when you no longer have a legitimate use for it. Fifth, compliance. Processes and procedures that are implemented to comply with regulations. 6. Incidents and problems. Managing information security incidents and addressing root cause with processes of incidents management and problem management. 7th, which is the last one, notifications. Notification of incidents such as damaged parcels, pending pickup and pending delivery. Apart from data control, we have internal control. It has 5 types of control, which is IT, safety, human resources, operational and quality. Okay, first, IT controls, a process of approvals for adding user permission to a system. Second, safety control, maintenance of delivery vehicles and providing insurance. Third, human resources controls, controlling employee performance and organizational culture, for example, a process of employee performance reviews and disciplinary policies. Fourth, controlling business processes such as a process of reporting monthly performance to manager or director. Fifth, quality control, the testing of services to ensure conformance to the policy. The next one is customer data management. Customer data is any and all information that can be associated with a customer, and it is considered a special category of information. These are some examples of customer data. The first one is customer record. The primary customer record includes basics such as the name of the customer and a customer ID. Second, accounts, use of user ID and password, permission and encryption. Third, orders, which contains customers' order history. Fourth, preferences, customer preferences such as delivery time preferred by the customers either at any time or on weekends. Fifth, incidents, incidents and related problems that have impact to the customer such as damaged parcels or pending deliveries. Sixth, customer service ticket, it is interactions between the customer and company representatives. Seventh, feedback, customer surveys and satisfaction ratings on our services. Eighth, payment method, either is online banking or cash on delivery. Ninth, loyal programs, details of reward programs such as points or coins. And the last one is offers, marketing offers for customers such as shipping fees discounts. The last subtopic in data control is data quality. It has 5 characteristics, which is relevant, timeliness, correctness, completeness, and privacy or protection. We'll take a look into each one of it. The first one is relevance, data that is useful to support processes, procedures, and decision making. Second, timeliness, data is created, updated, and deleted quickly. The third one is correctness. Data is free of errors, omissions, and inaccuracies. Fourth, data is complete relative to the business purpose. For example, an order for shipping may need configuration details such as sender's detail and receiver's details. The last one is privacy or protection, providing limited access to files and database. So I think that's all from me. I will pass the baton to my other group members to explain about system architecture of proposed design.
Now, I will talk about system architecture. System architecture is a conceptual representation of the components and subcomponents that reflects the behavior of a system. We have discussed about the issues of system architecture, processing methods, and network architecture. So, the first issue is the corporate organization and culture. The organization and culture in JNT is well understood to suit with the time management and product distribution. The system can also adapt with current issues. For the most recent example is the pandemic issues. Next, enterprise resource planning is very important to JNT as it includes the connection between supplier and clients. Hence, this process is very much needed to manage and integrate necessary things in our business. Apart from that, a total cost of ownership is the purchase price of an asset plus the cost of operation. This includes the purchasing of hardware, software, and taxes that needed to be paid. Additional costs are including installation, employee training, security costs, recovery planning, and many more. Other than that, scalability of this new proposed system functions very well to perform in an increasing or expanding workload. We emphasize a lot in making the new system to be able to at least maintain or even better if it can increase its performance when it is tested with bigger operations. As the e-commerce has evolved, we also made sure that our proposed system can make our website into a sophisticated consumer experience. In this web integrated system, it ensures a real-time connectivity that we needed. In considering the legacy system of this JNT company, the changeover method is taken into account. We must be on par with the technology as it advances to be dealing with the legacy system issues such as costly maintenance, harder compliance, and a weak security. Next, a processing option is a parameter in which you enter a value to process data online or in batches. We made sure our websites can go through online between the client and supplier. Next, the security for our proposed system is very thorough. We made architecture analysis assessments to detect weak or missing security controls to help in providing remediation to avoid from being exploited. Architecture analysis can not only detect technical failure, but it can also find loopholes. Lastly, the corporate portals, or also known as the web interface of the JNT company, has a change in par with the new system we proposed. The color remains red. This is because it represents our company's excitement, passion, energy, and action. Next is the processing method of our new proposed system. When a salesperson enters the sale on the terminal, the online system retrieves data from the item file. It updates the quantity in the stock and produces a sale transaction report. At the end of the day, a batching processing program produces a daily sale. Next, we'll be moving on to network architecture.
Okay, for my part, the explanation based on the diagram. The network diagram starts with the main factor, which is customer and package or document. For the first one, the customer should have a phone number, email, and name. Customer need to register. It include name, address, telephone number, and type of service. Customer also need to fill in the recipient detail, such as name, address, phone number, and good type. Customer need to make a payment. It contain the date, time, as well as the payment amount. From the payment, it produce a written receipt of the payment amount and good detail. For those who have made an advance payment, will continue to get a receipt. When finished about the customer, it should be related to the second factor, which is packaging. The package should contain good detail, giver detail, and recipient detail. Package on or obtained from JNT. The package need to be scanned. It will return if damaged, sent or received to the recipient. Package also be arranged according to the recipient address or area address before being sent to the customer. Okay, we continue about the conclusion. The conclusion that we get from the project is the system design process provides sufficient detailed data and information about the system and its system element to enable the implementary consistent with architectural entities as defined in model and view of the system architecture. The main objective of the design phase is to produce a model of the system. Thus, the system design is the bridge between analysis and development of software. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you.